When your baby cries as you walk away or you try to put them down, it's not just sadness, it's a sign that something deeper is happening. Around 9 months old, many babies begin to cry the second their parents turn away or steps out of the room even for a second. In the past, they didn't even seem to notice. Now they cry whenever you put them down or whenever you go to the bathroom. If this sounds like your baby, then you're in the right place at the right time. Hi, I'm Cherrick, a pediatric physical therapist, and I show parents how to turn simple touch and movement into strength and brain development. This is the place where purposeful touch meets developmental science. Around 9 months old, many babies begin to cry the second their parents turn away or steps out of the room. Whereas in the past, they did not even seem to notice or care when you left the room. Now they cry the moment their feet touch the ground when you try to put them down to go get something done around the house. Even sometimes they wind up crying, even when you're right there, but you're not actually holding them. And so a lot of parents have been asking me, why does my baby cry so much when I try to put them down? And the answer to that is your baby is not trying to manipulate you. Your baby's not staying up all night crying or not sleeping anymore just to get back at you. Today, I'm going to help you to understand exactly what's happening emotionally, neurologically, and developmentally. And then at the end, I'm going to give you some practical tools that you can use to support your baby through this stage of development. So let's take a step back and talk about what's really happening in your baby's brain between this 6 to 9 month period. At 6 to 9 months, your baby's brain is entering a stage called emotional object permanence. It means that your baby is realizing that, hey, wait a minute, mom exists even when I can't see her. But here's the catch. Your baby doesn't fully understand that you are going to come back. And so this disconnect between your presence and when you're absent causes your baby to be stressed out. And this stress response is what's going to trigger your baby to start crying. Your baby isn't manipulating you. They're struggling with a brain that's just beginning to recognize loss without yet having the tools to reassure themselves. Your baby is at a stage where they are beginning to feel things a little bit more strongly, and their brain is not yet mature enough to be able to process those feelings. This is a healthy stage of development. It's part of early emotional intelligence, memory formation, and attachment security. When your baby cries when you walk away, they're not misbehaving. They're signaling, I know you're gone and I don't yet feel safe being alone. So the question then becomes, what can you do? Is this separation anxiety or is this something else? I hear a lot of parents say my 9 month old cries when I put him down, or my baby cries when I turn away even for a second. And yes, this is often the beginning of separation anxiety, but it's not always separation anxiety in the clinical sense. It's more accurate to say your baby is learning emotional boundaries and they're looking to you to know where those boundaries are safe and where they're not safe. So here's what's normal at this age of development. Crying when you put your baby down. Yes, perfectly normal. Crying at bedtime or nap time. Crying when your baby's left alone in the room. If your baby seems like they're waking up more often at night and needing comfort and where you know that they're not even hungry, that's typical. Here's what's not typical. Constant inconsolable crying throughout the day. Avoiding eye contact. That's a big red flag. Not calming down when you come back and you pick them up. Or if your baby seems like they're completely ignoring you and they're not seeking comfort at all. If your 9 month old is crying for no reason and not responding to your presence, that could be a red flag. But in most cases, this is an emotional growth spurt. It just means that your baby is going through a phase. Let me tell you a quick story. I was working with a little girl and I was working with her sitting. She was 8 months old and working on her sitting balance, and I was not quick enough to catch her, and she tipped over. She was a little bit surprised, and I overreacted. Of course, I had the pillows around her so she didn't hurt herself, but the way she suddenly tipped over caught me off guard and I overreacted. And of course, she cued into that emotional reaction from me and she started to cry. Mom was in the other room. Mom stuck her head in to see and make sure that everything was okay. I picked her up and gave her a little hug, started calming her down. And immediately I began to realize that, you know what? She's starting to trust me. She's starting to realize that she can get comfort from me. And that connection was building, and that we were building our own connection that is separate from her mom. So our mom stuck her head in. She said, "Is everything okay?" And within like about 5 seconds, she had stopped crying. She turned her head to the side, laid her head on my shoulder, and I was signal to mom, "Yes, we're okay." She accidentally tipped over. But that was an experience that taught me that we're building our own bonds, and she's beginning to mature, and she's beginning to not just trust her parent to take care of her, but she's also recognizing that other people are able to take care of her as well. Grandma, uncles, aunts, and yes, the physical therapy. So that was an interesting bit of emotional growth that I was able to watch her experience and go through, and I thought that was pretty neat. This baby was learning who could comfort her, when to trust, and how to express vulnerability safely. That's the foundation of emotional resilience. This is a point where she was beginning to show that she's able to take care of herself, but not only that, but that she's also able to reach out and get emotional support when needed. So, what are a couple of things that you can use to support your baby during this time of development? Let's talk about what you can do to help your baby feel more secure while also trying to promote independence. Here's what I want you to do. Step number one, practice short, predictable separations. Start by stepping out of sight for like 5 seconds. Say something like, "I'll be right back." Then return and say, "See, mom came back." You can then slowly begin to extend that period of time that you separate yourself from your baby on purpose to 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. What this will do is will help your baby to form secure expectations and reduce that separation anxiety. Step number two, play peekaboo with a purpose. When you cover your face or you duck behind the couch and pop back up, your baby is learning something. It's called object permanence with emotion attached. If you narrate what you're doing with a soothing voice, such as, "Oh, where's mommy? Mommy disappeared behind the couch. Mommy's back. Here I am." This begins to create emotional security for your baby. It helps you and your baby develop a more predictable routine with regard to separating yourself on purpose from your baby. Number three, create a safe goodbye routine. Before you take your baby off to daycare, before you put them down for a nap or even a bathroom break, use a consistent phrase. Mommy always comes back. Daddy always comes back. Keep it short and confident. Don't sneak away. This can heighten the distress. Tell baby, this is what's going to happen now. Number four, use transitional objects. Introduce a soft blanket, a stuffed animal, or even a shirt that you wear that smells like you. This will give your baby a symbolic connection when you're not physically present. Number five, use floor play, but with gradual distance. Sit next to your baby, then scoot back about 2 feet. Then encourage your baby to explore and do other things while you're just kind of hanging around in the room. This builds confidence in being alone with the knowledge that you, as the parent or caregiver, are still emotionally present. Let's talk a little bit about what crying at bedtime and nighttime waking means. My 9-month-old baby cries when I put them to bed. My baby's crying all night and not sleeping. This is one of the most common pain points for parents. Here's why. The emotional brain doesn't turn off because your baby's tired. When your baby's tired, some of that emotion might ramp up to another higher level. If your baby's already processing separation during the day, it will often intensify at bedtime. Use a soothing bedtime routine that emphasizes connection. Use massage, singing, eye contact. Reassure your baby with phrases like night night, I love you, I will see you in the morning. Try to put a little bit of distance and discipline yourself to not rush into the room the second your baby starts to cry. Hang back outside, wait, and just listen and see if your baby can cry for a little bit and then begin to soothe themselves and calm themselves down. But you also don't want to leave your baby crying indefinitely if you feel like they're in distress. This is one of those things where your judgment as a parent will come into play, where you get to decide, okay, you know what, this cry is too loud, the volume is too intense. It is a situation where I need to step in. He's going to figure it out. Balance is the key. So, why is this stage in your baby's development? Why does this stage matter long term? Your baby's clinginess today is not a weakness, it's a sign of attachment, awareness, and emotional growth. When babies cry when you leave the room, they're not pushing you away, they're pulling on the thread that connects them to you. This is how babies build emotional regulation, social referencing, core trust, and eventually self soothing. Meeting your baby's need for comfort now creates long term emotional security. So, this is something that you want to get right. The next time you hear your baby crying when you leave the room, pause, take a breath, and know that this is a milestone, not a failure. And with small, purposeful steps, you can help to make your baby feel seen, safe, and secure, even when you are not right next to them. If you want more tips, you can download my free milestone checklist in the link below. It's a 6 to 9 months milestone series on my YouTube channel. I'm Cherrick Gordon, and this is a place where purposeful touch meets developmental science.